Going into 2024, I felt like there was so much pressure on me because people were expecting like, wow, like Taylor the Phenom, like she's going to be amazing. And so I think that got into my head going into 2024, which is why my mentality going into 2025 is like, we're going for it. Like we're going full force and we're not going to let the external of what other people think really affect how I feel.
You got second in the 2023 Miss Olympia and third in the 2024. What kind of effect did that have on your mentality?
Ooh, that was a crazy one because I think going into 2023, it was my pro debut. I wasn't expecting anything. Even my coach and I were like, hey, let's just try to win routine because that's like the part I'm strongest at, which is worth 70%. And then the posing round, which is worth 30%, they're like, just do your best, have fun, and just have the experience. And so when I won my Legion show, that was a complete shock, and that qualified me for Olympia. So going into Olympia, I was like, I'm just happy to be here, and I might never be back. So I was like, everyone come watch me, have fun. And then, so it was a very positive mindset going in, and then I ended up getting second, which was a huge surprise. And I was like, wow, like I might be good at this, you know? And so then right away.
Your first year, runner-up?
I mean, that was crazy. Absolutely crazy. And so going into 2024, I felt like there was so much pressure on me because people were expecting like, wow, like Taylor the Phenom, like she's going to be amazing. And so I think that got into my head going into 2024. And 2024 prep was a much bigger mental battle for me where I kind of let it get me down a little bit and then also ultimately affect my performance at the 2024 Olympia. And so my performance wasn't what I loved, unfortunately, which is why my mentality going into 2025 is like, we're going for it. Like we're going full force and we're not going to let the external of what other people think really affect how I feel. At the end of the day, it's like how I feel about my performance and my training and everything like that, and just to like block out the external noise. So it's been a little journey of like, oh my gosh, I'm here, to like, oh my gosh, I'm here, to like, we're here.
No, thank you. That's so honest, because a lot of people, when they're in competitive mode, which you are, September's right around the corner, they'd be like, oh, my mentality is like, I'm just, but that is so true. Like, you kind of set yourself up for a big bar your second year, which, like you said, it got you down, and it probably makes you angry that it came to fruition that you didn't do as good as the first year.
Exactly.
So, but honestly, like you said,
I know second and third, pretty good.
Very good for that to be your down.
Yeah.
But
exactly.
Like you said, it's putting you into 2025 with such a different, stronger mentality that is.
Yeah, there's a different fire. And like my coach talks to me about like when you're training, like really remember your why. Last year, my why was like, oh, like I don't want to disappoint people. Like I just want to like, perform my best. But this year it's like, I don't want to disappoint myself. And that's such a stronger why than like other people.
Totally. Well done. I mean, shoot. How old are you? Like,
29.
I mean, the wisdom and the, these little nuggets that you're dropping are like.
Oh, thank you.
You would think you're a lot older, but I don't want to, like I said, here I go blushing again. I don't wanna, like, do I stop here? Sorry. So you're competing in September.
Yes.
The mentality sounds different. Is there any changing in the actual training?
No, just the same thing, like sticking to whatever my coach has programmed. Off season is a super big important time for me just because that's my time to grow, especially as a natural athlete. I'm not going to put on like 5-10 pounds of muscle like someone who's enhanced. I'm going to put on like hopefully 3 pounds, but 3 pounds on a small frame can go a long way. And with bodybuilding, it's about shape. So because I have the wider shoulders, smaller waist, and if I can just bring my legs up, hopefully that will make my prejudge look a little bit stronger. And then routine round, like I said, coming back with a vengeance on that one. So I've got my routine almost choreographed. So that way I have lots of time to prep for it and like just show the best when I get there.
And I love that you keep validating and confirming that you're natty. You're natural.
I am a natty because it's rare in bodybuilding.
I was going to ask, are you allowed? Like, do they
it's completely allowed. It's one of the sports that, especially like professional sports, that completely allows it. People are pretty open about it. I would say like less people are natty than not natty. You know what I mean? So.
In the MMA world that we're used to, it's like you're screened pretty heavily. You can't do that stuff. So that's awesome that not only is it allowed, it's kind of common knowledge that everybody does, but you still choose to be natty.
I do. Because for me, bodybuilding right now is like an era of my life, which I definitely enjoy, but there's other things that I want to do. Like I want to compete in calisthenics eventually, and I want to do like high rocks races and stuff. And I just personally wouldn't feel good going into those things being an enhanced person.
Wow.
And I just, longevity of my actual health is more important to me than, getting awards and stuff like that. So.
Good for you.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I mean, like I was saying, not only are you wise beyond your years, you're so let me think of a better way to say that because I don't want it to sound weird. you're self-aware, like you're, you know what you want to do, like that. Here, let me think. Okay, here we go. I'm gonna say it better.
Okay.
Thank you. like not only was I saying before, like you drop these golden nuggets that seem like wise beyond your years. You're so self-aware and know what you want to accomplish, not only in the short term but the long term. Mm-hmm. And do you feel like that you're different in that area as an athlete? People don't seem to think that long term.
Yeah, I think so. But I think social media has helped me with that because I've just managed to know what social media can do for me, and to think big picture is really important because I think when I first started social media, I thought very small. I was like, oh, I'm just going to post for fun. And then it blew up and it was amazing. So now anything I go into life, it's like you never know what's going to happen and you want to be able to keep your options open and, explore anything you want to do, like no limits.
How much of your preparation and time is separated between calisthenics and strength training?
So with my division, I get to practice both, which is really great, which is another reason why I really like it. So I broke this down the other day. It takes about 3-ish hours in the gym in total. So it's 90 minutes of cardio, which is just like cycling for me. And then I have about an hour to an hour and 15 of working out. And then I have 20 to 30 minutes of posing practice of me just like holding my poses, building the endurance so I can like stand on stage and squeeze and, be judged. And then
I didn't even think of that.
It's a lot.
That's
the hardest part. Seriously.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
You get burnt out by just flexing.
You sweat. Like I sweat more when I pose than when if I'm working out. Like it's crazy because you're just flexing the entire time and trying to look like nothing's
happy
wrong.
about it. Yeah.
I'm flexing, but it's
I'm
fine.
cramping, but here we are.
Yeah. So
Do you cramp ever while you're posing?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. So that's like 20, 30 minutes. And then my routine practice, that's kind of where I get my calisthenics skills in. That can be anywhere between 20 to an hour, depending on the day. Because sometimes I run my routine and it's a lot faster, and other times I'm just drilling parts of my routine. So maybe I do 5 of each skill, or maybe I do the first half of my routine 5 times, second half of my routine 5 times. It just depends on what my body can really do that day. But it's around like 3 to 3.5 hours in the gym during prep.
Is there days off?
There's one recovery day. Yes.
A week or?
Yeah, a week. So that's like the best day. I get to do like my cold plunge, my sauna, like go for a massage. But then every other day is the 3.5 hours. So it's a lot.
That's what it takes to be the champ, and you're going to get it. September, it's coming. And then after competition, what is?
Oh, that's a fantastic time.
Is it massages every day?
No, it's eating. It's like, that's the best
course.
part, because during prep, like you're so regimented with your diet. Like I think the week after Olympia, my coach is like, I'm not going to even bother you. Like you go and eat everything you want to eat. So I eat like donuts, cake, pizza, pasta. Like I just eat everything. Not all of it to entirety, but I just want little bites of everything.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Do you feel sick afterwards, or are you?
No. So this is my second year of doing it. So my first year I did. First year I went crazy and I just made myself so sick. And then I was like, okay, well that's not fun. So then my second year I was a much more controlled, and it was a much more enjoyable process.
Good.
But I still got to enjoy everything, like food wise, and get all my cravings out.
Good. I don't know why I'm so happy about that. I'm like, good for you. I love food.
No, food is so good.
Oh, you're gonna have to cut these like reactions out because it's like that guy's weird with food. Man, do you have any interest in the future in competing in the figure and physique divisions?
No, that's not for me. That's not for me. Only because the reason why I love fitness so much is because of that acrobatic routine. I just love that performance aspect. And as much as the posing stuff is something fun to master, I'm just nowhere close to big enough to compete on the big stage with those girls.
Like I said, it goes back to the self-aware. You know what you...
I know my strengths.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Fitness.
And why change why fix what isn't broken? You know that long-term you don't want to be big. You don't want to be like this.
I still want to be functional. And I think being able to, my career is primarily in social media. So if I ever got too big where I'd lose a lot of that, just like the risk versus reward is just not really worth it for me. But love fitness, and I will always compete in that division, just not the other ones.
Always?
Well, yeah, I'll always do that division.
I love it.
Because the thing is with bodybuilding is you can take time off and come back years later. Like there's no limit really. Like obviously when I'm 60, probably not. But like girls compete, or say women, compete well into their 40s. So I'm only 29. I got like a good 15 years left.
Wow.
We're chilling.
I love it. I love it. And because for some reason when I was thinking, all those other ambitions that you have, that means discontinuing bodybuilding, but it doesn't.
No, it's just like that era will end for a little bit, but I can always reopen that door, which is why I also like the whole flexibility of what I do. So if I always like maintain my strength building in the gym, I can always go back to bodybuilding, or my calisthenics and my strength training when I'm bodybuilding, I can always go back to calisthenics. I keep it very I can kind of like pip bop everywhere I want.
That's the life. You're building the life that you want. And that's such a unfortunately uncommon thing that people hopefully people get that motivation from you. You can take control of your life. Like you're choosing what you want to do. And that's,
you don't have to pinhole yourself. You don't have to niche down so hard. You can, experiment everywhere. What, the saying where it's like, the master of none. Have you heard that one?
Oh yeah. Jack of all trades.
Yeah. Jack of all trades is a master of none, but oftentimes better than a master of one. I freaking love that quote.
I do too.
That's my
favorite
favorite quote.
The last part.
Yeah. People just say the first one and make people feel bad for wanting to do everything. And you're like, hey, there's a whole second sentence.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because I fell into that with business is I am so scatterbrained. A lot of people are like, hey, jack of all trades, master of none. Like as if I was like, oh shoot, that's a bad thing that I want to have my hands and all this stuff. Oh wait, there's a whole second part that says, but is still better than a master of one. Yeah.
So when people say that, I'm just like, you don't know the rest of the sentence.
I love it. What advice would you give someone new to fitness that would want to compete?
I think just like do it. I think a lot of people get so nervous because they see the bigger builds on stage because some of the girls are relatively big in the fitness category. Because that was me too. I saw them and I was like, ain't no way. Like, ain't no way I'm going to do well. And then I just did it and I did it for me. So I think that's a really important thing to share too is if you're going to get into bodybuilding, one of the Olympia winners from bikini, Jen Dory, at an interview was like, with the bodybuilding, you're going to lose more than you're going to win. Just like any other sport, really. So if you get into it, it has to be for you. And so getting into bodybuilding, getting into fitness, if you get it in for you for like your own mental change, like whether it's learning how to do strength training or learning how to do a flip, if you do it for that reason, you accomplish that goal, that's big enough, Yeah. And I think a lot of people just focus on like titles and winning. And it's like, no, like win for you and everything else will come.
It's probably hard to hear that from you that doesn't not win. So
people
it's like easier for you to say.
Yeah.
But so people who want to get into this know that winning isn't just
titles. There's so much more to bodybuilding. Like I think I've unlocked way more mental fortitude and just like learning about myself this entire process that's bigger than any win. You know what I mean? Because you come out a better and stronger person both physically and mentally.